Hey guys, we've got another, I believe, top 32, is it?
It is, yeah.
Top 32 deck profile from UK Nationals. We've got Axel here, and he played SwordSoul. Okay, before we get into the profile, Axel, do you want to tell us why you decided to play SwordSoul?
So with Sword Soul, with every other deck, I feel like it's the most consistent. It's not got too many crazy combos, and also it's not too slow. So for me, I wanted a consistent deck that will be able to play 8 to 10 rounds, which we had 10 rounds of Swiss, and consistently have decent hands. That was the main thing for me to top. The only thing I really had in mind was just topping. So as long as I had a consistent deck for them rounds, I was happy, which it did perform what I wanted it to do, really.
Yeah, and I believe, yeah, it was very consistent because I think you finished, was it eighth after Swiss?
Yeah, so
Something
I
like that.
finished 8-1-1. My only loss was a mirror match to call from Team Shift. I believe it was round 6, and then I drew against ABC Therion because Mystic Mine is a good card.
So very strong tournament run, very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're ready, we can get straight into the list.
Yep. So, like I said, played total, very standard list, I would say. I went for more consistency. To begin with, I did play a few cards that wasn't, they were like tech cards, but I trimmed it all down to 42 cards, and I'll start with the monsters. Standard, three long one,
Yeah.
three Moye, two Tire, and three Ecclesia. For a while, I only played two Ecclesia, but went back to three because, you wanted to see it go in second. The other parts are standard. Sometimes with a tire, you end up banishing it off desire. So the third one might come up, but it is the worst one in terms of your starting hand.
Okay.
Now on to the 10 years. Triple Ashuna, triple Bashuda, double Adara, and one Shafana. So I guess these are the ones that have changed the most. So them three here, or the three and the three, they're standard. You won't ever change them. Shauna's probably the best one. The two Adara, for a while I was playing free, and then I kept swapping out for the Shafana. I was really happy with the Shafana. I play Circle, so it goes really well with that. And then the two Adara, I did miss the third maybe once, but every other round, I was happy with the two.
Yeah.
Getting it off is really good. Hand trap wise, played three Ash and two Vela. It's a 42 card deck. These were the 41st and 42nd card. I wanted something extra. I also play three imperms as well.
Okay.
I just wanted something to go against some of the combo decks. These were DD Crows, but I felt like with Despia, they're playing Mercuria, so it's normally negating the Crow on the branded in red anyway. So the Effect Veiler was the last minute decision to put in. We're very happy with it. Potentially, I might swap it out for one of my cards in the side, maybe move them around, which I'll go through once I get to the side. Spell wise, standard, three emergence. I went for two Vessel and two Circle. These are the ones that are probably the most changed. So people are either running no Circle or no Vessel, or maybe three Vessel, one Circle. But I felt like these four cards were really good. This is probably the most broken card, especially going second. You can play around Token Collector, you can break boards. Circle plays around Imperm, plays around Veiler, plays around anything that targets. So, against ABC, they'll try and like ABC one of your worms and then you just pop it off. And then also with everyone playing Punk deck, with the Vampire XYZ, they mill you, and sometimes you end up milling that, and that's just like broken. You banish it when you control a face-up non-effect monster, and you just add the 10E to your hand.
Okay.
Two Desires, standard, wouldn't ever play any less than that. And then the Disruption, three Droplet and one Core Buy. I guess the Droplets, for a while I was thinking whether or not to play Chalice, whether that will be in the main or side. But in the end, I decided not to and just ran with 3 droplets. And to be honest, they did phenomenal throughout the tournament. I wouldn't ever not take them out, or wouldn't ever take them out, really. I was happy with them. Going second, you might end up deciding one out. But yeah, other than that, I was really happy with them. And then onto finally the traps, which was 1 blackout and then 3 imperm. Can't really. You always play 1. I mean, there was like once where I was like, I wish I played the second one, but it's a brick other than that. And then the imperms, really good. Like the effect veilers, but I mean, this one you can do it in the standby phase when they go to, just get rid of the Baron if you're playing against a punk deck, and then, hopefully got the out for the Halp Cyclop. So 42 cards, really happy with it. Maybe only the Veilers were the only things that I might take out or swap around. Everything else I'm really happy with. Definitely happy with the 2 Vessel, 2 Circle. But yeah, maybe also, I don't know, with the Triple Adara. I thought the 9-10 years was a good amount. Normally I play 42 cards anyway, so when I got to the 40 cards, I was like, I need to get 2 more cards in. With desires in the deck as well. After you resolve that, that's 12 cards gone out your deck. So I thought 42 was really consistent in that terms. Extra deck, pretty standard, triple monk, and then 1 shaman. Shaman came up quite a bit. The triple monk came up quite a bit as well. Wouldn't change that. Synchro wise, Yazzie and 2 Baxia. Baxia is probably the best synchro, best level 8, even better than Yugioh. Breaking boards, it's like ridiculous, and also the Monster Reborn effect. The Yazzie only came up like a couple of times of the weekend. 2 Yugioh, pretty standard. The 1 Berserker, which actually gained a Scar Striker. They widow anchored my level 10 long one. And then from that, I was able to beat over the long one and kill, I believe it was like a Kagari on the field. And I believe it was like around about 4k attack or something along them lines, and just killed him. The 1 flex spot, I guess, was Dragite. People either play the Light Charmer, Crimson Blader. So I went with this one. It actually came up against Scar Striker. He had 2 back row. Some of my level 8, he was expecting me to go either Baxia or one of the others, some of this one. And it actually stopped him because he had like Widow Anchor plus another card. So I was able to negate it and then carry on my plays. Level 10 wise, long one. Oh, no, straight into level 9. Chao Feng never came up. It's always good in deck. Against I lost to ABC in top 32. And the goal was trying to summon that, but my hand wouldn't allow it. Level 10 wise, long one, chaining, and Baron. Going into this tournament, I always think that the long one was going to be the best level 10, but throughout the tournament, literally Chaining like outperformed. It was so good, like especially going second. It just breaks boards and just leads to OTKs quite easy. So I mean, wouldn't change anything. The Dragite did well. I mean, it could have been a Crimson Blader, which would have helped me in a few of my matchups, but other than that, it was really solid. Side deck. So I went with double D barrier and triple anti-spell. It was either 1 at 3 and the other 1 at 2, and I decided the anti-spell was far superior. Don't get me wrong, like I played against 2 Despias, and these came in, of course. Played 3 mirror matches, and then a few other decks where the D barriers probably wouldn't have come up as much anyway. So I was glad I went with the anti-spell. Don't get me wrong, I probably drew it like once, twice. I never really seen the side anyway. And that's another thing I wanted to mention. Quite a lot of times I went second. So if I win game 1, they choose game 2, and then if I lose game 2, game 3, I will make them go first, which catches off quite a lot of people because they assume that we're going to go first, or they were going to go second, so they might side in the nibs and other go second cards, which in a 5-card hand they draw a nib and maybe go second card. They got 3 cards to combo with.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I should have done that in my top 32, which is probably one of the reasons that I lost. I was thinking about it, but he, which I mean, I'll come on to it now. One red reboot, I only drew it against the top 32 match. So he flipped the barrier. I felt really confident, activated red reboot, and then he solemn judgmented me.
Oof.
So yeah, no, I was not winning that game. To be honest, my hand was cracked. I opened like Call by the Grave, and then combo and red reboot. He had Therion, King, ABC Buster, IP, and then he set 2. And I was like, oh, it must be a D-Barrier. I was hoping it was going to be like something, another trap card maybe, like not Solemn Judgment. And then once you flip that, I was like, we're going game 3. So I really should have let him go first in game 3, but then game 3 I went first, and to be honest, we both opened not very well, which led me to play into a nib. And to be honest, from there I just kind of lost. I fought back a bit, but then he managed to get a board of ABC and then just clear my board. The final, I guess, trap card I played was evenly match, especially going with me going second most of the games. Bringing that in just like auto wins some matches, especially in the mirror match, because they make the long one synchro instead of the Baron, and then from there you just clear it and then just do your full combo. All they know is like they're not dying that turn, but you make such a board, and then by then like they haven't got much cards in hand with SwordSoul. So I mean, I was really happy with that. Shout out to Bennett, Luke Bennett. He top 16. He pretty much convinced me to play this, and I was really happy with it. So I've been in most games. Really happy. 2 Droll and Lockbird. So this is the card that I might put into the main deck instead of the Veilers. Against combo decks, like it just outperforms, especially the Punk deck. So they might go Z-Armin, add, and then you Droll and Lockbird them, and it just reduces them to like not being able to do the adventure package potentially, or even do like some other like cards with prosperity maybe. And I was really happy with it. I would probably try and chuck a 3rd one if I don't move it to my main deck. Put 3 into the side deck. Dark Ruler no more. Really good, especially going second. Like I said, it just breaks the board, especially now with the Hout combo to get the Scythe. You got priority to activate, so you go main phase, activate that, and just kill them. Or maybe not kill them that turn because you can't do damage, but actually just put them in a position where, you clear their board, and especially against a Punk deck, they might not have much follow-up. They might have a right, but by then, you might have your level 10 Synchro out, you might have a Baron out, and then, it's lights out for them, really. And then the last card was a Harpies. It probably shouldn't be Harpies, it probably should be Lightning Storms, or maybe the 3rd Droll. I sided it in a few times, and then every time I got it, I was just like, I wish it was something else. And then, just my tokens that I played, and then my field center. But that's my profile. I went X11. Really good tournament. There was over 840 people there. Long day, but it was run really smoothly. I played against the mirror match round 1, round 2. Played against a Punk Therion deck, but it focused more on like Light Swans, which caught me off guard. And I lost game 2 because he ended up with full ball plus spell cancer, I think it's called. Played Sky Striker, beat it. Played Gojin, I believe it was round 4. Dragon Link, shout out to him. Round 5, I think I played against a Therion deck. Round 6, I lost against the SwordSoul Mirror. Round 7, played against Brad, I believe it was. Despia, shout out to Brad from Leicester. Round 8, I drew... Oh, no, round... I got one round missing. Round 7, I played against ABC, and then round 8, I played against Punk, Jake Quincy. And And then day two, all I had to do was win one round, and I would have been happy. Went against Salman Grey, top 32, beat him, and then went against Aiden from Nottingham on Despia and beat him. And then top 64 played the mirror match to owed it, and then top 32 played against Oliver Newton, I believe his name is. He went to top four. He was a former national champion, 2015, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that was a really good game. I say game one I beat him. Game two he SJ'd my red reboot, and then game three we just both drew not as well, but he just managed to get me on like the nib. So other than that, I mean, really good tournament, I would say. Well, I was really happy to finally get my first top. It's been, over 10 years I've been playing nationals. But yeah.
Yeah, well done, bro. Any shout outs before we finish?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So big shout out to Del Hawks. We've been playtesting. He's the one who got me back into the game. I stopped playing around 2017. And then, yeah, he got me back into the game around Christmas time. And then since then, we've been, passing cards about. He lent me pretty much most of the stack. Most of his deck is his. All the rarity upgrades, I lent him cards as well. He drove us down there on the day one. Big shout out to Ben Chelner and Bennett. We were playtesting as well, leading up to the event. Really happy all four of us topped. Big shout out to all the Notts lads who topped, and big shout out to all the Leicester lads who topped. I'm not too sure how many Leicester lads topped.
I think it
was it around about like 7, 8, maybe more?
I think three of us in top 64, but then like to get the mat top 128, I think it was about 8.
Yeah, and then with the Nottingham lot, there was 5 in top 64. So the East Midlands wise, which I mean, Nottingham's my main locals, and then Leicester were my second locals, and it just shows you that there isn't a north-south divide. Like the middle is where it's at, I would say. So big shout out to everyone who topped there. But yeah, I think that's most of it. Shout out to Team TMBL. In other card games, we're starting to make waves. So you might see a bit more of us. But yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for coming on. Right, guys, that was Axel's top 32 SwordSoul deck list.